Hello everyone, this is Sharpedo43 once again, bringing you fellas week 5 of the NGDL. We're gonna be facing the Baltimore Blazikens once again, and the reason for that is because in the Nacho Gold Digger League, all the coaches were split into divisions, 3 divisions to be specific, and each one is gonna carry 4 because there were 12 coaches, and one of those 3 coaches that I'm paired with in my division is Sam the Man the 28. Sam the Man 28, huh? No, it's Sam the Man 28. And as a result, I already battled him in week 2. So because he's in my division, I have to battle him once again. And this is the battle basically. As you can see, his team is actually pretty much similar to the one that he brought against me on week 2, but it's also possible that he can change up his sets a little bit to throw me off or something. So yeah, I gotta be careful with that obviously. So anyways, I'm going to lead off with Heliolisk right here, and he's going to lead off with Cresselia. Obviously, I'm going to Volt Switch, risking the possible switch in the Garchomp, just because I don't think he's going to switch it in right now. And this Cresselia can definitely take a Volt Switch from a Heliolisk, honestly, so I didn't think he'd be too worried about that. And what he wants more is to get a Toxic on something, and he does get it on Gallade, which I'm personally fine with just because I have Heal Bell on my Sylveon for it. This time I'm bringing a Cleric Sylveon as opposed to the Choice Specs one that I brought against him in week 2. So, yeah. And now here, what I'm going to do now is to go for the Toxic itself before this thing starts to go for substitutes or something. So, I do get the Toxic off, but it's going to be on this Garchomp because he switches in Garchomp now. And I was like, that's fine too, because I can now wear this thing on as well. But this Garchomp, surprisingly, actually carries Lumberry. And this is actually some good intel for me, because honestly, now I don't have to worry about relying on Speed Boost with Sharpedo to actually take this Garchomp out, honestly. So here I'm going to switch out Gallade and go into Skarmory, because I was afraid of a Earthquake from this Gallade, from this Garchomp. So, but instead he's going to go for the Stealth Rock, so I switch into Skarmory here. I do not have Defog on the Skarmory because I didn't have the room to put Defog on this thing, so I just had to stick with this. I go for my own rocks. He's going to hard switch into Thunderous T as I do that. And now here I definitely stay in, risking Thunderbolt, which he does go for. And the reason why I did this was because if you guys saw in the week 2 battle, he went for a freaking Nasty Plot turn 1, and then a few turns later he went for Agility. So I was like, holy cranberries, I do not want him to set that shit up again. So as a result, I definitely just stayed in. He is gonna switch out now though. Oh no, I phased him into Mindshell, and he's gonna go into Sylveon here. And I'm gonna now, as a result, or he is actually gonna go for the U-turn actually, and go into myself, which is the Durant, which is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. I think I've already mentioned this, but yeah, it's pretty funny that he names it that. Funnily enough, my week 1 opponent also named a Tapu Fini after me, which is kind of weird too. I'm like, why even? But anyways, here I'm going to switch out Sylveon because I do not want to take an Iron Hit on this thing, and I'm just going to sack Skarmory here in case he also happens to carry that Electrium Z that he carried on me in week 2. He doesn't do that actually. He actually goes for Home Claw, so I'm like, holy cranberries, this was probably a misplay, probably. Because maybe I could have hard switched into Heliolisk instead, but honestly, I didn't want to risk him going for an X-Scissor or something and killing my Heliolisk straight up. So yeah, I'm going to go for Volt Switch here. I was going to go for Thunderbolt, but I didn't want to risk this thing surviving and then taking out my Heliolisk, because this Heliolisk can be pretty useful. So I'm going to go into my Milotic here and hope I can take a X-Scissor. He is actually going to go for Superpower and do a lot of damage, because unfortunately my Milotic wasn't able to proc its Flame Orb earlier. So as a result, its defense wasn't maximized basically. So here I'm going to have to switch out once again because I now anticipate the Electrium Z. I was kind of predicting that Electrium Z on this thing all this time, and if he didn't go for it and went for another Superpower, then that would just have been ripped me, honestly. But he does go for it, and as a result, I think I am able to take it here. Because, what's it called? Heliolisk is an electric type. I think its attack is actually neutral, so, and the fact that it's not stabbed the Electrium Z, so I think I was definitely certain I could take it. Not well, obviously, because it's a Z move, but I was definitely certain I would be able to take it, honestly. And I am able to finish it off with a Hyper Voice. This probably could have been a misplay, because honestly, this allowed him to only get a free switch in the Delmice. I think what I should have done was maybe gone for the Volt Switch, just because it would give him Switch Initiative, sure, but it would probably prevent him from bringing Delmice in straight up. I could have probably went into Sharpedo or something to just pressure him to not go into Delmice, because I think Sharpedo, after Stealth Rocks, can take out a a Delmise, just because I think Delmice's defenses are probably not the greatest. I don't know. From my experience, a lot of Delmices go down to regular Sharpedo crunch, so I don't know. But either way, here I go into my Lodic. I think here what I was gonna do was just sack this thing. Yeah, because I was switching in. I wanted to switch out Heliolisk for being choice locked into Hyper Voice, so I just went into my Lodic. He does miss a Power Whip, and I went for a couple recovers just to get us to full HP. And he's gonna hit this Power Whip now. And as looking at that damage, I was just like, oh great, it's gonna do way too much damage. Even though I'm max defense, so I was wondering if this thing was even like choice banded or something. No, obviously not. It was definitely a Soul Vest, because look how well it takes this Ice Beam. It takes it way too well. But Delmice's attack stat was actually ridiculously high. I think it was like 135 or something. That's actually ridiculously high. It's higher than Garchomp's attack stat, which is ridiculous. But yeah, here I'm gonna go for more recovers. I think he missed another a Power Whip somewhere around here, but it was all for naught, because here he's just gonna get another one, and after the burn, it's gonna take out my Lodic. The good thing about this is that now I actually have this Delmice weakened, so now I'm absolutely certain that my Sharpedo can just come in here and just try to go for crunches. What he's gonna do though, he's actually gonna preserve his Delmice and go into Mind Shell. I don't know what he was hoping for me to do here. I guess he was hoping for me to just go straight for the Protect, but on a slow mon like Delmice, I didn't feel the need to do that. In fact, I get a free crunch on any switch in, honestly. And honestly, I think this was the biggest problem in his team, is that he didn't have a lot of switch-ins for Sharpedo. But now, because I didn't go for Protect the first time, I'm going to be able to go for it here. And now I'm going to be successfully at +2 attack, speed. And this Mind Shell, instead of going for U-turn, is actually going to go for a high jump kick, which actually makes it go down to red HP, which I don't know why he did that, honestly. I thought he would just go for U-turn, honestly. This allowed me to just finish off the Mind Shell with Crunch. So it made it more safer for me to just go for Crunch as opposed to switching it up to Psychic Fangs, where he can just switch into Cresselia or something. But anyways, here he goes into Thunderous. Now here, because this thing didn't take any rocks damage because he was able to rapid spin the rocks away with Delmice, I definitely had to risk it here with Sharpedo and actually hope I can take this Thunderous T with a Hyper Voice. Not Hyper Voice, Ice Fang, dumbass. Sharpedo does not carry Hyper Voice. I do take out this Thunderous, but it was with a crit, so I'm not even sure if that crit mattered. It might have, honestly, just because it's only X2 effective on Thunderous T, and it's not even stab, so it's boosted by Strong Jaws, but it's not stab nonetheless, so it's not as powerful as one would hope, honestly. I know I can take out Garchomp though with Ice Fang, because that thing is X4 weak to Ice, honestly, and Sharpedo has pretty high attack stat. Now here he's gonna go into Cresselia, and honestly, I didn't want to risk this thing surviving the Crunch and then having Moonblast for my Sharpedo, so I just switched into Gallade just to sack it, and then go into Sylveon. But he actually just goes for Toxic, so I was like, oh, that's fine, honestly. I don't really care about that. So what I do here now is actually try to go for Toxic myself with Gallade, because what I wanted to do with this Cresselia was just go for Toxic just to put this thing on a timer, essentially, because if this Cresselia gets to sit around for too long, it just starts setting up in my face, and then I won't be able to do anything about it, and it would suck, honestly. So, but seeing how he never went for Substitute or even Calm Mind or even Moonblast tells me that it doesn't even have any of that stuff for the remainder of my team, which is Sharpedo, Gallade, and Sylveon. But I don't know, I just didn't want to take any risks, honestly, because he could just like be preserving that last move, because honestly I've already seen 3 of his moves on this team. He used Psychic, he used Moonlight, and he's used Toxic, but I don't know what his last move is. Here I sank Heliolisk because I wanted to get a free switch into Sylveon. I didn't want to lose Gallade just yet, and I was getting kind of Toxic stalled a little bit here, so I definitely wanted to just sack Heliolisk and send in Sylveon now. Because what I'm going to do now here is go for a Hyper Voice, I believe, and I think it's a couple Hyper Voices. Because I was actually kind of afraid that he would just try to send in Delmice, predicting me to go for something else, honestly. So here, yeah, and he's going to go for the Toxic, which is kind of annoying, but I mean, what are you going to do? Here, it takes the Hyper Voice relatively well, so I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to keep going for a couple more. I think somewhere around here is where I go for the Heal Bell. In fact, I think it's after this Hyper Voice that I went for, that I go for the Heal Bell now. This thing is gonna go for Moonlight, so I'm like, okay, that is perfectly fine by me, because I think, yeah, it's here where I actually reveal the Heal Bell and actually heal off the poison that this Sylveon got, as well as the Gallade. So now when I send in Gallade, I don't have to worry about getting Toxic stalled, and if he tries to go for Toxic again, I can just do stuff like Taunt and prevent it from going for anything like that, honestly. So here, I'm gonna get lefties. This thing is gonna get poison stalled a little bit more. And then here, he's gonna switch out because that poison is starting to rack up, and he wants to at least be able to take out the Sylveon before he gets anything going. So he switches in Delmice to be able to take the Hyper Voice a lot better, because as you can see right here, I go for Hyper Voice, and look how well it takes that Hyper Voice. I think it can even take one more, honestly, barring a higher damage roll or something. So here, I'm guessing what he's hoping for me to do, or what he's hoping to what he's hoping for is survive and then finish me off with a what's it called? I forgot what that move is called. It's that steel type move, the anchor shot, I think it's what it's called. But yeah, to finish off my Sylveon because it's a steel type move. But it wasn't able to survive the second Hyper Voice, so I was like, okay, that's fine, honestly. So here he goes into his last Pokemon, which is xChrisKobain. I protect to just rack up that poison because I kind of want to hasten the process already, because at this point it's just literally nothing but this xChrisKobain just sitting around doing nothing but going for Toxic and Moonlight and Psychic and not revealing that last coverage move that he has. Because honestly, that's kind of what I was curious about this entire time, was what was that last coverage move, because this is one of the reasons why I was just playing around the Switch game here, because I was anticipating some kind of coverage move, whether it be Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, or even Moonblast for my Sharpedo and Gallade or something, or even Shadow Ball maybe. But he never went for any of that, so I was like, Here I think I just went for a Wish, just to be able to Wish Passion into Gallade. Because honestly, I want Gallade to be able to get this KO against Cresselia. However, I do forget that this there was rocks on the field, so as a result, now I have to actually lose Gallade here as a result. I don't know if I would have been able to survive even if there weren't any rocks, honestly, but I wanted to see. It didn't look like it would survive, basically. Like, it didn't look like it wouldn't survive because of the damage it did earlier to Gallade with Psychic. But it did anyways, because of the rocks. So here I'm just going to now safely switch in Sharpedo, which was another reason why I switched in Gallade anyways, because I wanted a safe switch in the Sharpedo in case he was just hiding that Moonblast behind him and he just didn't want to reveal it, honestly. So yeah, and that's going to be the whole game. That's going to be a good game to Sam the Man. We are going to be able to take this victory, basically. It's going to be a 2-0 in our favor, and now we should be standing at, I believe, 5-0. So yeah, thank you all for watching this battle, and feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below if you guys want to. And I apologize if I sound a little bit choppy today. It's just because I'm a little bit in a hurry. I just want to get these battles done because I have more battles waiting in line, and I just want to get them all out of the way. So yeah, once again, stay tuned for more battles, and I'll catch you guys later.